What is up, Buck Nation? I know it's been a really long time since I've posted any Buccaneer related type videos, but I am officially back. It has been a couple of months. I haven't posted anything since my 2018 season review and my predictions for next season. But now that the draft has occurred, I am back in the Bucs hype train. I usually take those couple of months off after the season. I don't get too excited unless we have a really big free agent signing. But as you all know, we really didn't do much this free agency. I can't even recall one big name that we signed. So there was nothing exciting to talk about. I could have talked about how disappointed I was in it, but I didn't want to do that. So I am back with a 2019 Buccaneers NFL draft reaction. I have a list on my phone of all the draft picks, where they're from and their position. Just keep in mind, for some context, I'm not a big college football guy, so I'm not too familiar with a lot of these players, but I did do some research on them after they were picked. If you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. I am back with Bucs videos, so moving on through this offseason, I'm going to try to find different Bucs type related content to post. And then obviously when the season starts, I will be back with more reaction videos. Also, like and comment. I want you to comment down below what your favorite and least favorite pick was, and who you would have liked to see us draft in this draft. So without further ado, let me get into the draft picks. So in the first round with the number 5 pick, we selected Devin White, linebacker from LSU. Now, I know a lot of people have mixed emotions, mixed reactions to this, as do I. I was primarily thinking that we were going to pick D-line because that has been our biggest need for a billion years. I thought D-line and running back were two of our biggest needs, and corners, defensive back, safeties, that whole pool of people. I didn't think we would go a safety or a DB or a running back in the first round, so I really thought we would go with one of the coveted D-linemen. I thought maybe, what's his name, Josh Allen and Quinton, the guy Quinton. I told you I'm not good with these names of college players, but we selected Devin White, and after thinking about it and reading some things, I'm actually pretty excited about the draft pick. I know he was the #1 linebacker in college, super fast, and we needed a middle linebacker, especially since Quan Alexander was gone, and he signed, of course, that giant contract with the San Francisco 49ers. So we drafted Devin White. I am very excited about this pick because I did hear what Bruce Arians and Jason Licht said. If we're running a 3-4 defense, he's very good at blitzing, and if we are running a 4-3, he will be a middle linebacker. I think him paired up with Levante David, who is a very similar speed type quarterback who can rush the passer, I think that is great for the team. So I'm very excited about what Devin White can do. Although we didn't draft a D lineman, I'm excited because I think Devin White will do well blitzing. I trust Bruce Arians. I trust really Todd Bowles. I know with the Jets he didn't have a really good defense, but he was a head coach, so he had to, separate some of his time with different things. But I think now that he's fully on the defense thing, I think he will do well with us and be able to help us build a pretty good defense. And I think he'll know how to use Devin White. He is not Mike Smith, and he hasn't shown us any reason why he wouldn't be able to craft a good defense and use the strengths of our players. So I'm really happy with the Devin White pick. I think he'll be great in there. Although the D-line is still not the best, I think using him as a blitzer will help. And I'm trying to be very positive about this and very, optimistic because of Todd Bowles in there. So yeah, that is the first pick, and I like it. With our second round pick, I think it was pick number 39, we got cornerback Sean Bunting from Central Michigan. Now, I had to do a lot of research on him. My friend actually hit me up. I was out watching Avengers, so I didn't miss that part of the draft. But my friend texted me, told me what he thought about him. He's a long corner, which I think we really needed after the Brent Grimes experiment, which I always said I was appreciative of what Brent Grimes did in those couple of years. And with Vernon Hargreaves being smaller and not as good as we thought he would be coming in, I think Sean Bunting is a good pickup. I know we needed corners, we needed tall corners, we needed long corners, and the one thing we really needed were fast corners. I know last year our new corners, our rookies last year, Carlton Davis and MJ Stewart, were not the fastest, so they were getting beat. So I think this year, even though Jason Licht said they weren't focusing on speed, I think that definitely played a big role in their decision making. So I'm very excited about him just because we finally have corners that can keep up with the big receivers, since the NFL is kind of shaping into a league where big receivers are becoming more dominant and more needed on teams. So I think he'll be a very good pickup for us. I think he can run with the best of them. I think he runs a 4.43, if I remember correctly, somewhere around there, which is pretty much the majority of receivers. So I'm not too worried about him being beat too often. as you know, as always, cornerbacks usually don't do the greatest on their rookie season. And I think it's very telling that we drafted really multiple corners in this draft, multiple DBs, even though we drafted a bunch last year, which tells you the ones we picked last year probably won't pan out, or maybe Todd Bowles and Bruce Arians don't see them fitting our system that well or being the kind of players they need. But I am excited about Sean Bunting. I think he will be a very, very big upgrade over who we have, because with Brent Grimes out, I don't know who our number one corner is. I'm assuming it would be Vernon Hargreaves now, but I don't think he is in a position or a place where he should be relied on as a number one. So if Sean Bunting can, you know, develop to an average corner in his rookie season, I think he would be a great pickup and will be able to help us in locking down the opposite team's number one receiver. So I'm very excited about that pick. We definitely needed a corner. Wish we had a D-line, at least in the first 2 picks, but I can live with a corner. Now in the 3rd round, we did trade with the Los Angeles Rams, and we ended up getting 2 3rd-round picks in the 90s, 94 and 99. With our first 3rd-round pick, we picked up a corner, Jamal Dean from Auburn, another taller, longer type corner, another fast corner. I think I read that he was running a 4.42, 4.43, so about the same speed as Sean Bunting. Again, we need more corners on this team, especially for depth. It looks like Ryan Smith will probably be out. It looks like MJ Stewart, I don't know, he looks like a backup slot corner behind maybe Vernon Hargreaves. I think Jamal Dean will do pretty well again. If we can, the thing is, can we develop our secondary? Under Mike Smith, we were unable to develop anybody on defense. So I think if we're able to develop our corners and our DBs, then our defense will improve significantly. So I'm, again, not worried about this pick. I really would have liked us to at least address D-line here, since we did in the first 2 picks, because at this point, I know this draft was very, very top heavy in D-linemen. And then once you got in the later rounds after the top, I think it was like top 4 or 5, the talent level really dropped significantly. So I really wish we would have at least picked someone that we could have developed. Again, I would have preferred a D-line here. I'm not mad about Jamal Dean, but I still would have liked a D-line instead there. With the 99th pick, we picked another DB, Mike Edwards out of Kentucky. And again, he looks, I know he's played corner and safety, and I think we will be using him for safety. We have Justin Evans, who has proven to be a pretty solid safety, not the best, but he has not been able to stay healthy. The one thing that excites me about Edwards is that he is a ball hawk. He knows how to get to the ball, and that is one thing that we've really been missing. You remember last year we went like a million weeks without any turnovers, any interceptions. They did end up coming in bunches, but that was mostly because quarterbacks were throwing bad balls like Cam Newton. But I think this is someone who has good ball hawking skills and good hands and can catch. I think we really need that because, as you know, turnovers can really change the momentum of a game and really deflate an offense. So having a player like that, who I think will probably play primarily safety, I could see him maybe in 5 DB sets coming in as a DB, but I think primarily he will play safety. So I'm excited about that one. I'm excited about a ball hawk. Again, we need a D lineman. I thought by this point we would at least pick a D lineman, but it kind of shows you that the staff, whether it's Jason Light or the defensive staff or Bruce Arians and his staff completely, believe that our D-line is not really the biggest issue and our corners are. So I would kind of agree with that. We had, I don't remember the number of sacks we had last year, but our D-line was getting some kind of pressure, but our corners were just so bad, like receivers were open. So I think they're realizing that it's mostly the corners can't cover more than 2-3 seconds. So they're working on the back end. And hey, if we can get a defense that can shut down opposing teams' receivers for enough time to get our D-line in there for a sack, I'm all for it. In the 4th round, we selected Anthony Nelson. He is a defensive end from Iowa. From what I read about him, he reminds me of Carl Nassib. Like, he is a very, very raw talent, but he has a very strong motor and he knows how to use it and run and try and really not give up. So I think that is good for us, but I would have liked to seen us pick a D end earlier. Not too much to say about him. I just hope that he develops. Carl ended up becoming a better pickup than we all thought. I thought he was going to be like a camp body, like, you know, just someone as a backup, but he ended up becoming a pretty reliable player opposing JPP. But with Carl Nassib having, this is his last year in his contract, and JPP, I'm assuming they're going to re-sign Carl. JPP, I don't know, they might give him a cheaper contract. I don't expect him getting top dollar, so if he's willing to take a pay cut, I can see us keeping him. But hopefully this guy, Nelson, does develop and show us some intangibles that can, you know, maybe make up for the lack of talent that we have on the D-line. There isn't really too much to say about him. I just hope he pans out. Usually, when it comes to 4th round on, I don't get too excited about. For me, I see them more as projects than actual stars, even though some can break out and be stars, but the odds of that happening are not so much. So, again, I trust our defensive staff. I think that they know how to develop players, as they've shown in Arizona, so I'm not too worried about that pick. Now, the 5th round pick. I don't know what we were thinking. A kicker, Matt Gay from Utah. Now, I know we need a kicker desperately, and the Aguayo experiment failed after he was picked in the second round. But again, we need more D-line players. We need a running back. There's no running back we could have drafted. I don't know anything about kickers, so I have no idea why we picked this, unless they saw something in him that makes them think he's worthy of a 5th round pick, then okay, but we thought Aguayo was and he wasn't. So I hope this one pans out. I genuinely, like, I'm not one of those Bucs fans that are like, bad pick, I hope he fails. I hope all our picks do well. I hope this guy, Gay, knows how to kick field goals and be consistent. That's all we ask for. All we ask for is consistency and, like, make over 85% of your kicks. Like, the bar is so low in Tampa now, just 85%. We'll be happy with that. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully he knows how to make those kicks. In our 6th round, we picked up Scott Miller from Bowling Green. Now, this one I'm excited about. I did research on him. He is a fast receiver. I think he was in the 4.42 range, 4.43 range as well. With Adam Humphries being gone, I was kind of worried. I know our offense is really set outside of running back, and we have a lot of talent, but Adam Humphries was such a security blanket for Jameis. And again, I always said he's the hardest working receiver on the team because he fights for everything. Hopefully this guy can turn out to be the same, but I know the coaching staff wanted more speed at slot receiver position, and this guy is fast. He is a burner. So hopefully using him, he can be kind of like an Amendola type role, a younger Amendola, get those little quick out routes, those middle of the field routes, and just blow downfield. So very excited about that. I'm an offensive guy, so of course I'm going to be naturally excited about that. And I hope he pans out really well. Jameis needs a security blanket with reliable hands. So if this guy can catch 90% of his passes or 90% of his targets and up, I think we will be set. And with his speed, he will definitely be a game changer. As you know, I think Mike Evans is a top 3 receiver in the league. I think Chris Godwin is an average to upper tier 2nd receiver for now. And I think he will benefit greatly from being opposite Mike Evans as the number 2 receiver. So having this guy as a slot receiver, I think will be great for the offense. And then again, having O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate, I think our offense is very, very dynamic. I think losing Deshaun Jackson actually made us better, addition by subtraction, because Deshaun wasn't doing much dropping balls. His work ethic wasn't really the best. He gave up on plays. So I think just having Chris Godwin there, who has a lot of heart and will play hard, is automatically an upgrade. So I'm very, very excited about this pick. I hope it pans out, and I hope this kind of speed really helps our team. Now our final pick, Terry Bickner from Missouri. He is a defensive tackle. From what I've read, he is a 3 technique like Gerald McCoy. And since we know Gerald McCoy has not been cut or traded, he is still under contract for a lot of money that we really can't afford to pay. I don't know what they're doing in terms of the salary cap, but that's a whole nother story. I think this guy is now a pickup to be developed under Gerald McCoy. It doesn't seem like they're getting rid of Gerald McCoy this season, even though Gerald McCoy hasn't participated in any of the offseason activities. So this guy, I think right here, is a developmental project that will be developed behind Gerald McCoy. Maybe he's a body to help Gerald McCoy get some rest, since Bruce Arians said Gerald McCoy is not as good as he has been, but he's still a good player. So I think if he can develop a little bit, they're going to put him out there to give Gerald McCoy a breather, and then hopefully replace Gerald McCoy in the future with this guy. And by hopefully, I mean hopefully he's a right pick. I'm not saying get rid of Gerald McCoy, because who knows how many years he has left in the tank. Hopefully, if everything pans out the way we think it will, this guy will be the replacement for Gerald McCoy. Overall, I would give our draft a B-. I think we could have done better in the earlier rounds getting D linemen, but again, I think the corners were a good pickup. I don't think we really addressed the D-line the way we should, and I don't think we touched running back at all. That is the reason I give it a B-. I think the people we did pick up in the first 3 rounds are solid and will be very beneficial to the team, so that is why I keep it in the B range. But the minus is because we didn't address the things that we really needed. So running back, I don't know what they're going to do. I know they like Ronald Jones. We haven't seen anything from Ronald Jones, so I don't know if it's coaching or what. And I know they like Peyton Barber, so I don't think Peyton Barber's a bad running back. I think he can be an upper echelon top 15, which is what we're hoping. So hopefully the scheme, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the O-line, the scheme. I'm actually a little upset that we didn't address the guard position. We definitely need to work on that right side of the line. All our rivals, the Saints, the Panthers, and the Falcons, they all drafted a lot of players in the trenches on the D and O-line, which I think we needed to at least do. We needed to strengthen that right side of the O-line and the D-line. But I'm being optimistic. I think this season we will do pretty solid. I will actually come out with a video maybe in the next couple of weeks where I discuss the schedule itself. I wanted to wait till free agency and the draft and see kind of what we got before I dive into the schedule. So I will do a dive into the schedule and my predictions on what games I think we will definitely win, what games are 50-50, and what games we will lose. So yeah, that is it for my draft reaction. Once again, comment down below what your favorite pick was, what your least favorite pick was, and what's one player that you thought we should have picked when we had the chance. Thank you for tuning in, Bucs Nation. Make sure you click subscribe. I am going to continue posting a lot of Bucs videos throughout this coming season. So let's grow together. And Buck Nation, let's go. Let's get it going. I'm super excited about Bucko Bruce as head coach. I think our team they'll play with a lot more heart and they'll play with a lot more energy, and I think that'll help improve the number of wins. I'll get into the win total again in my schedule video. So thank you for tuning in, subscribe, comment, and I'm excited to grow this season with you guys and build this channel and build this Bucs fan base. So let's get going. Go Tampa, go Bucko Bruce, and let's get this season going. It cannot come fast enough. I am out.
Our offense tough, our defense rough. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Ain't no other team stopping us. Go Bucs, go Bucs.